Good afternoon, everybody. I get lucky lame a lot. Let me check my audio, make sure I'm good to go before we keep going here. Yeah, it looks like I can. I have audio. Good morning. Oh, good morning. Good afternoon, everybody. Hey, Magic, how are you? Brad, all is well. Long road trip. Basically went around Texas for giggles. By the way, someone at the pump next to me, he filled up a 250, an F-250, and he drove off. And I went and looked, and his full tank was $150, and that just made me nauseous. It was just awful. Um, yeah, and lucky. Can't spell lucky. Awesome. Hey, coffee. What's going on? Hello, red leg. And I did send you an email, by the way, buddy. Um, hey, I'll be listening. Planting sweet potatoes. Will you post a video of that? Because I'm trying to figure out what I'm doing with that. Happens all the time. Uh, and all right, good. 5x5. Hey, Joe. Sassy gal. Hello, hello. All right. So yeah, $150 was a yike. Tennessee. Hello. Um, hey, Rome. Just listening. Finishing up the garden. Taters. Hey, Jen. How are you? I'm glad to see you online again. I know you had a lot going on, so it's always good to see you out there. Um, Folks, I got to tell you, I drove around Texas for the Memorial Day weekend, and prayers to anyone who may have lost someone. I got to tell you, folks are relatively well behaved this last weekend. I was kind of shocked. People were being chipper down here in Texas, other than obviously that horrendous incident down in Uvalde. Uh, it was rather pleasant to see. I'm sure some of you saw the video of the guy passed out on the street from my hotel window. I see shit like that constantly. It's absolutely bizarre. Um, hey, Glenn, how are you? So, I was doing a little reading because I'm curious. Where's everything going right now? I did get a notification. Let me see if I can find it again. That there is officially there's now the monkey cootie, which you guys know what I'm talking about. The monkey cootie is now in Argentina, and let me see if I can find that because that came from a corporate. Let's see if I can find it now. Nope, of course not. Anyway, yeah, they're reporting. Hey, heroic, what's going on? Um, they're reporting that the monkey cootie is now officially in Argentina, and they said it's put your oh no. Oh, I can't even imagine, but that's losing a family member. I don't care what anyone says. It's tough. Um, they become part of the family, especially after 17 years. Uh, oh, that's awful. I'm sorry to see that, Glenn. Yeah, guys, send some prayers and warm wishes to Glenn. It sounds like they can definitely use that now. So oh right, there we go. So I got I'm still on a lot of mailing lists. Hey, off the wall, how are you? Yes, I did. There was also another shooting. Wait, which one are we referring to? Because there was one I heard was on the East Coast, and then there was another one down here, and a mom shot the gunman and dropped him in the street. So I don't know what the hell is happening that all these people all at once are deciding to freak out at one time. Hey, Mad Shad. Hello, hello. And off the wall. Oh, now the chat just disappeared. Yeah. Um Okay, there were a couple of shootings. Okay. And Loretta's planting sweet potatoes, so that's always fun. I'm looking forward for that. I got this one from one of the State Department posts, and I'm not super thrilled about it. But this is one of those unfiltered ones. I'll just show you. Uh, oh, shoot. All right. Preparing for election violence. Uh, and then it says elections are hallmark of the democratic process. They are also a time of uncertainty and instability in many countries. Um, Electoral violence often relates directly to existing conflict patterns, blah, 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 indicators and risks of violence. Uh, there's a whole report that I can pull up. I'll have to pull that up. I just got this 10 minutes ago, so I haven't had a chance to pull it up. But, oh, Chattanooga and in New Orleans. Yeah, northern. It's sad. My relatives, my sister and I, told each other we need to visit each other more than occasions like that. So, uh, yeah, I'm glad you were at least able to spend some time before everything, Jen. And yeah, Glenn, it's tough times, guys. There's a lot going on, and then we have normal life. Every one of us has those life things that just happens, and it's big prepper hugs. Hey, Denise. Yeah, and what scares me is, we watched a video a few weeks ago about active shooter, and of course, this was an older video, and they're saying, the typical shooter is Caucasian male, but if you look, the more recent incidents, it's not. It's actually a very diverse group. The DC shooter at the naval base was, I believe, was African American. He was a black individual. The one in New York City more recently was black. The Uvalde shooter was Latino. Uh, so it's a lot. There's a lot going on, and yes, thank you, Colin Ferguson. It's all over the place, and I think, and you know what the problem is now? The teenagers, some of them are stupid, and they think it's funny to SWAT a school. So if you haven't heard of this phenomenon, any of you in law enforcement know what I'm talking about. They basically will call a threat, or they'll call and say, hey, this person threatened to shoot the school, and the SWAT team goes to this kid's house and takes the kid in. The police have gotten a bit more wise to how that works, but that's pretty awful. But we're going to see more stupidity because all our teenagers in many parts of the country have been locked in for 3 years, and now we're letting them loose, and they don't know how to behave. They're like unsocial puppies. Oh, it's heartbreaking. Absolutely. Okay, good question. Want to prep for a dental issue? Ooh, I there that man, that's a good question. And I'm not a doctor, I'm an engineer, so I know enough to be dangerous. I know the recommendation from my daughter, who's the trauma vet tech, and her husband, who's a doctor, is the tools and the antibiotics, but you'll still need the training to get a tooth out without messing up the person you're trying to help. Because you can't do a root canal without a lot of elaborate gear, even if you do it manually. So that's going to be that's going to be a tough question. I don't know if I can answer that validly, but you know what? That anybody in the chat wants to make suggestions on that one. Not in touch with literal reality. They're in the meta. Yeah. Uh, right. And that's something I did read about. The that the feds want to lower the the recruiting age to 16 or 17, depending on what your source is, but you can't own a gun until 21. And I think that's ridiculous. They have to figure it out one way or the other. Whiskey and dental pliers. That's interesting. Yeah. And Denise, there are a lot of questions because I've been and Redleg and I are scheduled this Thursday. We're going to go through risk assessments and threat assessments. But I know he's gone through the active shooter training, and so did I. And the prevailing philosophy is to engage the shooter as soon as you can, if you can locate the shooter. Sometimes cops will run into a building and the shooting is echoing and they have no idea where to go. Um, yeah, an antibiotics case from Jace. That's definitely a good idea, especially if you have a situation where one of the roots is soured, because that will travel up your sinuses and that could kill you if you're not careful. So that's uh, okay. There's a good recommendation. It's Is it called Where There Is No Dentist? Um, yeah, coffee. If you have the author, if you want to throw the author's name in there, that might help. Uh, okay, Tennessee. We might have to do one on the weekend then, or on a Friday night. And okay, that's the exact title. For those of you, that's a really good resource. I've heard of it, but I never really thought about it. Um, I actually have in my circle a surgeon, a veterinarian, and a person who's about to become an RN. So that's a really good. We have a family group that's very heavy with medical experience, which is unusual. Um, but yeah, a dental infection can definitely hiding under your desk does nothing. So there's a school in New Mexico, and I was looking for the video and I couldn't find it. There's a school in New Mexico that the ISD voted, the school district voted, and they named 7 teachers and administrators to conceal carry in the school, along with the 2 security people. And they actually had the kids, and they're like, "Are you guys upset that Coach so and so is carrying?" And the kids said, "No, because we know the coach." And ironically, 2 of them are veterans, so they're going to run to the gunfire. But oh look, it's spam risk. So I like to mess with them, but sometimes now I get robots. It's just like an automated call, so I can't really mess with them. Uh, yeah. Well, what happened my wife actually, she had an infection in a tooth, and she kind of was like, because she didn't like a dentist, but it actually, her eyes started hurting, and so she went in, and the infection went up the root and then got into the sinus cavity and was working its way up, and so they nuked her with antibiotics and took the tooth out and everything. But yeah, the doctor did say as she was recovering there, he told me, he said, yeah, that kind of stuff, people leave it and it gets into the sinus cavity. It can actually go into the brain cavity, and it causes a mess. It could kill you. So yeah. um yeah, yeah, that one, I need to reach out to someone I know who might be able to answer that with more competence. A lot of people are going to be hesitant to make medical recommendations beyond like reading or certain meds, because it's a liability thing. You have to take it with a grain of salt. So, but yeah, someone mentioned, and that's a good topic. And but yeah, well, Israel does it. They have firearms everywhere, and there's rarely a mass shooting. So, but yeah, if you have any kind of dental problem, take care of it now for sure. The sooner the better if you can pull it off. But yeah, and Lucky's got a bit of a background in the medical field, so yeah. But okay, so the other thing that's coming up, aside from the monkey cootie now showing up in Argentina, and by the way, the warning, and I can't find it now, did say that they're finding it's transmitted, hey, hillbilly, by adult relations between individuals. That seems to be the prevailing method of transmission. So, and I don't know how to take that. I don't know if like somebody got infected and then they had relations and gave it to the other person, or did someone have a relation with a monkey? They don't clarify, but somebody was doing things to something and got a cootie and then gave it to someone else. So I don't know. I don't know. Take that how you will. The emails are so bizarre that I get sometimes. Hey, Vision, what's going on? So now I do have something that I saw, and it's actually from almost a month ago, and I didn't see the video when it came out, but I saw it earlier today, and it has been altered. And now people are passing that cootie around to the rest of the world. Uh, yeah, everything is registered there. And now people are passing. That's bizarre. Now I can act like a mod. Yeah, it's not airborne. I mean, it can be like from particles, but it has to be a bigger particle. It's not like the measles where you breathe in the room and you leave, and 3 hours later, a dude walks through that same room and he gets the measles. It's not like that. Um, but yeah, they're saying the okay. So does anyone remember when the monkeys got loose in Pennsylvania and they're running all over the place, and the cops showed up, and then the cops backed away, and the hazmat people showed up with the monkey grabber tool, and they're like grabbing monkeys, and the what was that about? And all of a sudden now we have monkeypox. This is just weird. I mean, not to be a conspiracy theorist, I don't have my tinfoil hat on, but that was just strange. Um, but yeah, it's super hard to spread, not by yeah, monkey bit someone too. Oh, did it? I don't know. I don't like monkeys at all. They annoy me. Like every video I've seen, people are like tourists are walking around. The monkey comes, grabs the lady's hair, pulls the little child's food. I'm like, no, no, they're little assholes. I have enough a-holes at work. I don't need more of them. Good Lord. Um, I believe it. Wait, who's this? Look, you remember us talking? Yeah, I wear my tinfoil hat proudly. There you go. It's there's a lot going on, and it's strange. Ew. So, thank you. And oh, hold on a second here. I have this other screen. Why does this thing pop up? I don't even know what the hell this is. Hold on a second, folks. Having technical difficulties. Really? There we go. Okay. What I had for supper last night. Yeah, I'm the same way. I'm to the point I'm forgetting stuff. But folks, I want to share this one because I totally missed it last month, and I'm usually pretty good about staying on the like the financial types. And I missed this one, and it's one of my favorite CEOs because the guy's got no filter. It's not Elon, by the way. It's the CEO of Goya Products, and thank you, Northern Girl. Yeah, you know what? I'm finding I'm not getting notifications for channels I regularly visit, and then all of a sudden I'm unsubbed and I'll sub again. So if any of you are content creators and I put a comment in your community page saying I just subbed now, it's so that I can look back and see if I got kicked off again. YouTube's been playing games, but I wanted to share this one. It's Maria Baratomo and the CEO of Goya, Bob Unanu, and yeah, he's awesome. And being another Puerto Rican, I think I have think the world of this guy. But I'm gonna let this one play because I think he touches on some stuff that I think is we've been talking about in the community. Yeah, it has been. Hey, Oz, glad you made it. Yeah, a little Chappaquiddick reference there. I'm gonna play this video, but this is important stuff, guys, because this what he's saying here, he touches on a lot of things. And Jen, thank you for doing that. I'm really glad to see you back. Like, you guys have no idea how awesome this lady is. If I'm ever in her part of Canada, I'm buying her and the clan dinner for real. Um, and you never know them knowing my company tomorrow they may be like, "Yep, you got to go up there anyway." And ta-da, there I am. But I'm gonna play this one. Let's see what this one has for you.
30-year high in the month
Can
of
you guys hear
March.
that?
Americans especially getting hit hard at the grocery store. The price of items like dried beans, canned vegetables, flour, all up better than 10% from the same time just 1 year ago. Joining me right now is the president and CEO of Goya Foods, Bob Unanue. Bob, it's good to see you. Thanks very much for being here. Assess the situation. How do you see inflation today?
Good to see you, Maria. We are on the precipice of a global food crisis. God created humanity. Humanity has created every way to destroy itself, from nuclear, biological, chemical. But now we've waged a war. We've weaponized food. In the Ukraine, between the Ukraine and Russia, they represent 50% of the world's production of fertilizer. 30% wheat, 20% corn, 2.5 million acres of sunflowers, other food and minerals. They also have sand for fracking, sand for glass. And, you know, they have, with
Did you
Russia's
catch
doing with
that?
the
Sand
land
for
bridge,
fracking?
they're also cutting off the Ukraine to the sea. They've taken Mariupol pretty much. Odessa is left. If they cut off Odessa, then they basically landlock the Ukraine and they can't export. They can't either plant. Right now, we're in the planting season in southeast Ukraine, where all these products are grown. They've attacked irrigation systems. They've attacked train systems. And they've sent millions of women and children into exile. But let me say that we have provoked, in a way, this war by showing an incredible weakness around the globe and lack of resolve to protect the women, children, and the innocent. It started in
Wow.
Afghanistan when we left women and children behind. Usually, women and children go first. We left them behind, and now they've sent
Yeah.
millions of women into exile. If the United States, the greatest country on earth, doesn't stand up for the defenseless, who will? We will lose this
Yeah.
country unless we love and build versus hate and destroy. We've given the green light around the world for people to
Right.
abuse and exploit women and children. We've given that green light by showing our
Well,
weakness.
Well, Bob, I understand everything that you're saying, and the Afghanistan debacle really triggered so many bad outcomes from across from our adversaries across the world. But what I'm really trying to understand is what's going on with the price of food. We're looking at double-digit increase in terms of the price. You are bringing into this conversation a much bigger issue and a potential food shortage crisis. Are you talking about a food shortage crisis where Americans are not going to have access to food, never mind paying up in the double digits for the price of food?
America will say, let them eat cake, because we have abundance. we're the biggest consumers in the world. The countries that will suffer are the innocent ones in Africa and around the globe. We are the biggest consumers of drugs, of trafficking, of everything. We're gluttonous. We're going to have to tighten our belt and consume less. We've gone from oil independence to oil dependence. We've given up that position to have our oil at cost and to buy it retail and then ship it. Our shipping, when we bring in stuff from, let's say, Thailand, coconut water, we're paying 10 times the freight we usually take. Now we have oil in our land and in a pipe with its zero transportation, zero ecological disasters, and we got to ship it in a boat and put the world in jeopardy if a ship is bombed or if it goes aground or whatever. So we've gone from oil independence to be dependent. We're dependent now on everybody else. We're the greatest nation on earth. We've been dependent on nobody.
As opposed,
we've given that up. We've given that up.
Yeah, as opposed to having the product in a pipeline under the sea. I understand the analogy and the comparison that you're making. Bob, let me get your take on this, because I get what you're saying.
The cost
it is
of that,
very,
Maria,
very frightening notion. The cost. What are you seeing in terms of the cost? And do you think that things are going to get worse? So you're sitting there at Goya. You have a front row seat. Do you think these prices go even higher later on this year? Let's start there.
The biggest component in food and anything is transportation. The transportation has skyrocketed because we've given up our independence. But you know, when you have an unbalance in the food production, in 2008, the price of grains tripled. Why? Because we were planting corn for ethanol instead of rice and grains and other things. You know, the amount of sugar in corn to produce ethanol, it takes 3 gallons of fuel to make 5 gallons of ethanol. Whereas if you're not using sugar cane, which is much more higher sugar content. So, you know, but when you have an imbalance in the world production, 50% of fertilizer, that's the farmers are paying double for fertilizer. They're planting less. The yields are going to be less. Their costs are going to go up. You know, with 30% of the world's wheat production, if that goes unplanted in the Ukraine and corn and other things, that our world is very it's a very tight balance. And if we interrupt the food production, we will have a food crisis. Prices will go through the roof. We can afford it as a rich country. We're so abundant, but other countries, unfortunately, will not. And we will be the last ones affected. But like Marie Antoinette said, let them eat cake.
Wow. Ryan, jump in.
Curious. I mean, we hear about reshoring, Bob, of manufacturing and bringing everything back to the U.S., which doesn't really seem to be happening. Can you do the same thing with our imports of agriculture? I mean, can we reshore a lot of that so we're not dependent on the world, and we're not in a situation like we are today with the whole Russian-Ukrainian war?
I'm sorry, I didn't quite get the question. I'm sorry.
Well, can we start to bring some of those imports back to the U.S., where we actually do more planting here and we're not dependent on the rest of the world for our agriculture needs?
Well, the U.S. is the largest, one of the largest producers of food, but we're also the largest consumers. But if you interrupt the production of fertilizers and other crops around the world, it's going to that. So, you know, the problem is we've outsourced a lot of, besides food, a lot of other things. And that's driven up the cost of things, from drugs into China and chips. Yeah. I was hearing this morning about Ford. You need 3,000 chips in a car to make the new Ford 150. And we're not making chips. We're depending on others. We're depending on others for food. We have the food.
Well,
we will be.
We've been talking.
It's not as big an issue here.
Yeah. Well, we've been several years. I do not mean why we're not seeing more progress. I mean, why we are reliant on the CP, its number one advertiser.
We may allow, but Yeah, Northern Girl, you're absolutely right.
For our
Oh,
prescription drugs. It's smuggling. 70% of the underlying components of our prescription drugs are made in China. Bob, I mean, it's outrageous, but we're going to keep a spotlight on it and hope that Americans understand these issues. Bob Unanue.
so he touches on a lot of things, and you notice what he said is countries like America, Europe, the UK, we're going to be unhappy, but it's not going to be a showstopper for us. But what it will do is the third world, the poor countries that rely on imports, um, those are the ones that are going to get hurt, and that instability is what's going to flow over. Zombie apocalypse. Red, I'll tell you what, if those crawly things from Cloverfield show up, start running around Corpus, I'm done. I'm not going to the beach ever again. I'm just done. If you have not watched Cloverfield, you should. It's the first one, not the second one. That's a different theme there. Can we just have a let's see. A lot of food as well. People get angry as well. We're sending our food. Yeah. A lot of people don't realize you can't just arbitrarily decide not to export. Typically, some countries can, but yeah. But stuff like this, it's more to be aware of what's. It was a good series, by the way. 10 Cloverfield Lane was about preppers, but one of them was not right, and it went all downhill. But it was a really good movie if you ever want to watch a good one. What's his name? Was it John Goodman? Played the one of these characters. Stay safe out there. 40 tons of dirt tour. Oh, all right, Nunya, you be good. Be safe out there. But they did point out a few things in this video. One of which was the it's going to be smaller countries are going to hurt the most, right? The U.S. has military force it can project. It's going to have it has money, it has wealth. It can do these things, right? The China doesn't care. China will kill their own people, but and most governments will at some in way, shape, or form. But the smaller countries that are affected will start creating issues with transport. It'll cause instability, and those are the kind of scenarios that start creating terrorists. It starts creating. Oh, he was the prepper. No, okay, it was John Goodman. Okay, I remembered exactly. Think of all the. Yeah. So, a lot of the countries are trying to export, and again, the U.S., Canada, Mexico, we have a pretty prolific agricultural footprint in North America, and then South America will sell to us happily. But you think of Africa and certain places in South America, but Africa, Asia, these smaller countries are absolutely going to struggle. Uh, and you know what, Red? It may be more. I think we're also witnessing powerful people who are not necessarily part of a country. I think we're seeing superpower fights and oligarch fights as well. I don't know if I said that right, but I think we have very rich these elites. I don't think they're on the same page. I think everyone wants to be king, and you can only have one, so they're all playing their games, and we're all suffering for it. Um, but yeah, it's 40 tons of dirt. Yikes. So we're going to continue seeing this, but it's not something we don't know is coming, right? When you're informed with information like that, now you can actually, adjust your approach. King of Kings, yeah. What was the old phrase? Capo de tutti capo? The old mafia bosses, whoever was the big godfather. Um, That's basically what it is. It's a lot of powerful people, but it's the countries that don't have infrastructure. It's going to suck for us, but it'll suck a lot more for like Angola, or countries that are relying. Because you think about it, what we're eating today, and guys, feel free to throw it in the chat. What we're eating today, when we open a can of green beans. Oh, I agree. Northern Girl, definitely. We've got some who genuinely want to see the world be right, and then we got some who, and there you go, capo de capi. Yeah, it's we're going to see a lot of that. We're going to see a lot of these struggles with different people of power trying to maneuver the world, and it's been going on since the beginning of history, right? During the Dark Ages, you had lords and barons who'd be fighting over cattle and lakes and rivers and whatnot. So, capo de tutti. So, Lucky's getting her Latin on now. But yeah, it's capo de tutti. But yeah, we do have a lot of. We're going to see that, and that tends to spill over, unfortunately. What I did find interesting is, the product we're eating now. A lot of it was harvested and processed, cooked, and canned 6 months ago, a year ago, right? So I don't think the general public, the normies, as we like to joke, they're called, I don't think they realize it's not going to get better before it gets worse. Eventually, it may go the other way, but they're going to be struggling for a while, and I don't think they realize that. And that is going to cause all of us in this community a problem, because we're going to have to deal with the stupid when we do go to the store. And by the way, since you guys are from all over, I know we have a few Texans in here, but there are folks from elsewhere. Can you put in the chat what's the diesel price by you right now? I know that the Canadians are going to be in liters, and Australia, I think you're in the liters too. So, but yeah, I'm just really curious what y'all are saying. Let's see. The question asks if they're loyal to their nation or. Yeah, you always got to question where the loyalties lie, and I think that's going to be a challenge. Okay, New York's, holy crap, damn. So you're almost $7 in New York, and I take it that's not the city, that's upstate, or maybe it's in NYC. 6.15 in Connecticut. Okay, yeah, we're about $5 ish in Texas. And Lucky, if you've seen a more recent number, feel free to throw it in there. $5 a liter? Oh, that's Canadian, but still, shit. So what is that? Am I doing my math right? About 14 a gallon American, if we convert it? Or did I screw up the conversion on the currency? Up to 230 per liter in the Outback. Okay, Long Island. So yeah, you guys have that New York City multiplier out in the island. God, I used to do a lot of fishing off of Suffolk County. Back when you could fish and there wasn't like one big strip mall across the whole island. Jennifer, Canada outdid us. You all screwed. Thank you, Jen. And hello, Jennifer. Two Jens. So, this all this stuff does, guys, it informs where we're going, right? You kind of see the way things are trending, and it kind of gives you a bit of lead. Keep in mind, during Hurricane Harvey, we all saw the hurricane, right? I mean, the freaking thing was on the radar and just chilling out in the Gulf of Mexico. And they said, no, it's 10 inches, relax, 8 inches, relax. And then the amount of rain kept going up. Nobody reacted. folks like me and my friends down there, we were already like, all right, we know this drill, whatever. We'll start getting water and, topping off whatever we needed. And then the storm hit, and there was a general panic, like in the 24 hours leading up to the storm. And it's like, guys, it was there. It was sitting there. Nobody listened. So to me, all these news articles simply help me make a decision as to what I prioritize next. Right now, be like, all right, let me check the canned goods again. I've said this before, pick a topic or a subset of your preps, whatever it is, whether it's pews, freedom seeds, medical, canned goods, pick one subject a week or paycheck, however you can do it, and focus on that. 479 again. That's not too bad. But y'all also have lower taxes there too. Hey, farmer's son, what's going on? I don't know where that came from, but that's funny as shit. We are like the chicken the Cadbury bunny had its way, but no chocolate eggs will be laid. Yeah. And yeah, and I like the Goya CEO because he's a very transparent CEO. I've listened to a lot of earnings calls in the stock market, and you can tell when a CEO is being guarded. And this freaking guy has no filter; it comes out, and he's seeing it, right? He's manufacturing produce. Goya is what, a $10 billion company. They have purchasing power, right? And the power of the buyer. When I've mentioned that in the past, they have it. And if they're like, yeah, we can't get all the aluminum we need for cans, or we can't get all the product we need, so our price is going to go up because we have to ship more to get it from somewhere else, it's going to roll downhill, right? And we're all at the bottom downhill. So, this is good stuff to make an informed decision from. I did find another one talking about the diesel. Dinner is done. Hey, have a wonderful night, coffee. We're cheating. We're getting Chick-fil-A tonight because we just got back from our road trip. Nobody wants to cook. So, but all right. Well, you have a good night. I'm going to play this one for you too. And not my favorite source of news, but this one was half decent, so I figured I'd give them. Let me see if I can get this to share. Come on now. Does not wish to play with me, my friends. Hang on. There we go. Let's see. 100, 200 in the past. Yeah. Now, what's interesting, Oz, that you bring that up. So, aluminum in particular has a component. I've heard it referred to as coke, and I think that's the wrong phrase. But some of the components in aluminum foil, tin foil, and similar products is a petroleum byproduct, right? And there are other chemicals, I'm sure, that go into the processing of steel, even though the steel doesn't have that component in it. There are chemicals used to remove the impurities from iron to create the steel that are petroleum byproducts. So as that becomes a market issue, it's going to migrate into the metals, the refined metals, if you will. So that's going to be a problem. And to your point, Oz, I took a round trip in Texas. I've hit Austin, Houston, Huntsville, Conroe, Dallas, like one big round trip. We had multiple things to do, so we planned one big trip, and we combined it with a small vacation, and we just did one run. And the dog food was about 30% less in Dallas than it is out in West Texas because that's a major shipping hub. You have the heavy railroad and the trucking goes through there, and it comes up from Houston, which is a port. So again, if you're traveling, folks, and you're out of your area, and there's something, especially like baby formula, dog food, those more expensive have to have items, check wherever you're visiting and leave some extra room in your vehicle, because since you're already there, you may as well take advantage of purchasing at a lower price. The other option is to if you know a friend's going to a certain place and he has a pickup truck, give him $50 or whatever and say, hey, if you see this, pick it up for me and bring it back. So, but yeah, I'm gonna roll this one here because it kind of lays out what Russia's doing to the Europeans right now, because they're starting to turn off oil and gas. I don't know what the hell they're doing, to be honest with you. They're absolutely confusing. I don't think they know what they're doing. So I'm going to roll this up here. Recently found what? Hungry Jack. Oh, see? That's cool. Hey, Art. And so let me see. Let me know if you got the audio on this one, folks. And maybe it won't start.
World's top producers of oil and natural gas. Energy exports are the lifeblood of the Russian economy, so much so that John McCain once said,
Russia is a gas station masquerading as a country.
And with its vast network of pipelines connecting it to its neighbours, Russia can exert significant influence outside its borders.
My name is Noah Brenner. I'm the Eastern Hemisphere Editorial Director for Energy Intelligence. We cover all aspects of energy, as well as energy policy and geopolitics. Russia's traditional oil and gas producing areas are here in Western Siberia, and then we see an array of pipeline connections moving across Western Russia into Eastern, Central, and eventually onto Western Europe.
One of those pipelines, Nord Stream 1, can deliver 55 billion cubic meters of gas to the EU every year.
Nord Stream 2 would have doubled the amount of gas that Russia was moving into Germany. Now, of course, that made Western partners, particularly the United States, nervous because they saw it as locking in a role and a demand for Russian gas in Germany, but also for Russia within the energy policy and the geopolitics.
Having technical difficulties, as you can tell.
Political sphere of Europe.
In response to the Russian invasion of Ukraine, Nord Stream 2 has been halted.
Und ohne diese Zertifizierung kann Nord Stream 2 ja nicht in Betrieb gehen.
Let's see. Yeah. And I have pretty good bandwidth.
Europe isn't the only market for Russian energy.
Oil demand and gas demand in Europe generally have been thought to
see, maybe if I make it smaller, it will. Okay, so technical difficulties on that one. So, okay, Ohio, 526. So that's up from what was diesel years ago, maybe $3, $2.50, $3. So while we wait for that, I don't think this is going to play nicely with me, kids. Oh, there he goes again.
have peaked. And so the future for Russia and the future for Russia's energy trade is towards Asia and towards China in particular.
In Russia's Far East lie another set of gas fields.
And this is what I wanted to point out. You notice they have these pipelines going to China.
And these connect to China via a pipeline called the Power of Siberia. In 2019, state media in China reported that it was expected to deliver 38 billion cubic meters of gas every year by 2024.
Russia has proposals on the table to build a second one, known as the Power of Siberia 2. But this alliance between Russia and China can be seen as another way that Russia is able to leverage its oil and gas supplies globally to create influence beyond what might be possible were it not this energy powerhouse.
Control over such giant energy supplies has some countries, particularly.
Yeah, I'm gonna battle this thing, guys. But as you can see, as you guys can see, the hold on a second. There we go. Um, you know, they said, "Oh, we're going to embargo Russian oil and gas." They're just going to sell it to China. They have a damn pipeline. China doesn't care, and so the cost of goods is going to continue to go up. And again, diesel a couple of years ago was under $3. Now it's double that. So that's going to find its way into your product. So, if you see this kind of stuff coming, it's a great way to go, hey, I need to prioritize, making sure if I have my foods in order. If I got to make a trip, consolidate trips, kind of like we did. Um, we took several trips and made it into one big one. And, we took a couple of days extra off to get it done. But now we don't have to make another trip. So it's not a separate trip to one city and another one here, one big trip, and, off we go. But this is just, again, we don't control this, and Red pointed it out earlier. We can't control it. This is way above most of us. But at least if we see this coming, we see those trends, and you see it from multiple sources, it gives you the opportunity to kind of go, okay, let me adjust course and go a different way. Yeah, see, and that's great. That's probably something I need to go back to because my medical supplies are right now a hodgepodge from hell in one area. I haven't sorted those yet. So I just went through canned food. I actually did a video on that, I went through my inventory, how I try to keep track of it. I redid the freezer. So the food is done. I did the batteries, then I did alternative power, generator, the solar, and now I'm circling back and I'm going to start with the medical and go through again. So I would, set yourself a schedule, a reminder, and, like week one, first pay, this paycheck, do the batteries, next paycheck, do the canned goods, then do the medical. You can do a vision did and a focused and extended period. Hey, Caribbean House. Hey, Color Drop. And focus on one subject for an extended period. So Denise was in the chat earlier and she was asking about dental. And we had some generic recommendations. Someone recommended a very good book, called, quote, Where There's No Dentist. That's the name of the book. But there was really nobody in the chat, including myself, who has that expertise. So that's a very valid question. A tooth infection can kill you if it goes into your bloodstream or into your sinuses. So, yeah, I remember he said a lot of things, and I wasn't a fan of that character. He was a very good speaker. I'll give him that. But after that, it was kind of like, eh. But yeah, just pick your battles, guys, because we're all on finite resources, right? Unless you got $1 million hidden somewhere, you can't just conjure a bunch of material. So what you got to do, pick your fights as you go. Oh, what? I didn't slap it down. Wait, what? I didn't even see the comment. Damn. In the chat, Lucky? I guess we're doing something right if they're kicking us off each other's channels and smacking the moderators down. Watch, I'm going to get the little symbol that says this jerk is not allowed to do lives anymore. But yeah, guys, inform yourselves and just, really the platform smacked it down. Wow. YouTube. You know what, Joe? Actually, I found comments you've put on my videos like weeks later. I can't find them when I look and I reply to a bunch of people. And then I'll find one you did like a month ago. And it was because it was snarky, it put it in this little bin, but it didn't notify me. So if I don't remember to go in there and look to see what was held, I would have no idea. Orator in chief he was. Yeah. And right now, I think you have a lot of vulnerability in a lot of parts of the world. I've been shadow banned for a good long time, and yeah, Joe's just having all sorts of fun out here. Well, that's a first. I've never seen one of my mods get a whack. Oh wow, was that similar to the comment that got smacked? Because that should not be getting. Yeah, I do. Wow. You were literally giving me the name of 2 books so the chat could see it. Guys, that's something else. Elon needs to buy YouTube. Watch, now I'm going to get banned for saying that. Yeah, people are still having a meltdown. I don't even post anything on Twitter. I just read, and people are having meltdowns over that. So even if he doesn't buy it, it's just hysterical. But guys, yeah, ladies and gentlemen, pick your battles, right? We got finite time, finite resources. Like was put up earlier, Vision was focusing on medical for so many months, channel suddenly shuts down. All fun and games till they kick all of us off, right? But yeah, there's a lot of resources out there, and all of us in the community, whether you're chatting or whether you're a creator, everyone has different experiences and different expertise. So and we've all said this, go to different channels, because I might recommend something and you're like, that's not going to work in my situation. But you go to Lucky and it may work for you there, or you might look at Northern Girl and she'll have something and you'll be like, okay, I can do part of what she said and part of what he said, and just kind of add it. It's medical. Oh, possibly with TikTok, unless they. Possibly. TikTok is a really bizarre platform to operate on. It's very chaotic, and I'll get videos recommended that have nothing to do with any of my interests that just throw shit at me, and I'm like, what the hell is this? And you run it away. So, but yeah, it could have been. You mentioned medical things, and it got angry. But again, and hence you notice I now have my little like and subscribe. Thanks, disclaimer, topics herein, blah blah blah. Yes, because they've already knocked one of mine offline and they muted another one. One was a copyright violation, which was my fault. I didn't give credit to the music, so that was my own stupid. Yeah, actually, there is a rather bizarre community of preppers on TikTok, and they're quite comical. And there's a couple that are just way out there, and some are just snarky as shit. And actually, what I need to do probably is reach out to those folks and then get like people from all the platforms on one big panel, because I think that would be hysterical. I'm sorry you're having that kind of week, man. That sucks. Yeah, you may want to burn another. I don't have that platform. It's a strange platform. I was on Twitter for a while and I got off. I mean, I have the account up there so nobody else takes my name, and every now and then I'll post, like this is happening and put a link. But other than that, I don't engage. The Twitter was just foul. I can't even describe that platform. it just creates hatred. Like, it's not even, you get your trolls everywhere, but that was next level stuff. Bizarre is pretty much. Stares at you intently in mod. We have. But folks, look, pick your battles, because we've got life going on, right? We have people in our circle, and like we were saying earlier in the chat, you don't want to get so sucked into all this drama that you're not living life with the people you love, because that shit can be short. So it stares intently. That should be a T-shirt, Lucky. Seriously, stares at you intently in mod. But you want to be ready to take care of the people you care about. So, make sure you take the time. I'm gonna do some videos on my travels the last couple of weeks. I've collected a lot of footage. I shared some of it with you, with the guy who's just decided to take a nap on the sidewalk the other night. Hey, Puddle. But take the time. And yeah, like Joe said earlier, go burn one, go have a drink, go play with the kids, do something happy. Look at PRC. Oh. Oh, I don't doubt it. Nobody's scared. Honestly, I haven't had a lot of people get to where, believe it or not, I've kicked people off the channel. I had one was just bonkers. And I mean, we can all get bonkers in the chat, and all of us are pretty regulars in each other's channel. We run into each other in Discord and whatnot, but this dude was gone. I couldn't even follow him. Everything he typed was a 3-paragraph run-on sentence, and I was like, I just don't understand what you're saying. Another one was getting ugly with. He got very nasty with some of the females, and I didn't like that. And his ass went to Shabalba. Who else? I had one who was wanting to overthrow everything, and that one went to Chabot. But there were a couple, but they. Oh yeah, I can only imagine. Hundreds kicked. Hundreds kicked during convoy. I can imagine. Oh hey, Vision found there was a dental med kit. Working on solar. Yeah, I'm super happy with the Jackery. But I'm looking at it going, maybe I need the bigger one. So that's like one of those budget items for later on, because those get expensive. You start adding all this stuff. Hundreds kicked. I can only imagine the trolls you got. Not kicked yet. Proof they're wrong. And what's funny? Different platforms, I have different demographics. So I have a very large following of women, and the young ones, Gen Z, on the tick, which doesn't surprise me because it's kind of aimed toward them. Insta, I have a lot of South America and Spain. I have a group that follows me from Spain, but they're like, we're so far off in our time that like I'll video now, I'll post something now, they'll see it like 48 hours from now. So it's interesting because you get to interact with different groups. There are a lot of minority firearms enthusiasts on Instagram that follow me. Black, Latino, Korean, I mean, tactical shooters. They've posted videos, and I'm sitting there watching them going, you guys are freaking good. I mean, I'm good, but you guys are really good. So it's really neat to see how the different platforms appeal to different cultures and countries. Shibalba. Yeah, Shibalba. For those of you who want to watch a really snarky movie that your kids can actually watch, because they won't pick up on a lot of it. It's The Road to El Dorado. It's one of the original Pixars before Disney ruined them. And that's where Shibulba came from. Like, even to this day, my 26-year-old daughter will throw something in the trash and go, to Shibulba! And, you know, it's just a running joke for us. Hey, Northern, thank you, Jen. Mods were on it. All right. You be good, Northern, and take care of yourself, hon. And folks are off limits, same as Twitter and TikTok. And you know, Facebook, I think my lives dump on Facebook. I don't even know how to like find the comments. Like, I found the guy was scolding me a month after a video saying, well, you posted this video. And it was like, dude, that was from like 2 months ago, crackhead. You know, comment on something else, go away. So there's no free speech. That died long before the Patriot Act. But I have Instas monthly to show others progress on my poverty pony. What? But anyway, folks, we're right at a little bit over an hour. I just wanted to share those videos, especially the Goya CEO, because I think that guy really, he's a businessman, but he worked his way up from like the floor to CEO. So this is a guy who's seen it all. And yes, cheers, everyone. And I do. And for those of you in Texas, I have a selection of Llano wines. So I might go attack one of those here shortly. And those of you in Oklahoma and Arkansas, you can order. They will ship. It's a neat Texas winery just outside of Lubbock. So anyway, folks, okay, hey, Vision got updates. Adventure Medical Dental Medic Kit. Okay. Cool. Tennessee, thank you. And I will be in touch with you. Lucky, I will be in touch with you as well because I have a question for you later on. Stuart, thank you so much. Folks, I'm going to wrap it up here. But guys, listen to what the Goya CEO said, right? We see it coming. Just react accordingly while we have time so you're not out with the stupid people. There you go. All right, color drop. Ooh. Yeah, we're cheating. We're getting Chick-fil-A. Hold on. I can't. All right, there we go. All right, Oz. Look, you guys be safe wherever you are. There's a lot of weird people running around the streets acting shitty. So pay attention to your surroundings, guys. We're going to talk more about threat assessment with Texas Redleg later this week. So we'll talk to you all later. God bless and be safe.